What's going on, YouTube? Thank you so much for joining us. This is the January Free League update. This is where we give you all sorts of information on Kickstarter updates, newly announced pre-orders and releases, and we just kind of answer some questions that you might have about Free League publishing every month. We do this every month at the end of the month, so if you are joining us for the first time, I'm going to ask that you hit that little subscribe button and that little bell notification. That'll let you know every single time we go live or upload new content, and maybe you'll be able to join us live if you're watching this after the fact. Also, one thing I will let you know that if you are excited about Free League products that are coming up in 2021, make sure to hit that like button down below and share it with folks that you know would be interested in our products as well. We really like to grow our YouTube community, and we are getting really close to 4,000 subscribers, which I really, really appreciate. Now, my name is Doug, and joining me today, as always, is Mr. Year Zero Engine himself, the co-founder of Free League Publishing, the one and only Thomas Herenstam. Thomas, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Hi, hello, and sorry for causing this delay. You know, it's completely, just so that everyone knows, it's my fault, not Doug's.
There was comments in the chat ahead of the stream that you were just trying to build anticipation and hype for this stream. So that's what you were.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Very sorry.
And you're a busy guy. You've got stuff going on, which we're going to kind of talk about a little bit. So, yeah. All right, let's get right to it. I'm going to let you know that if you are a backer of the Kickstarter for Twilight 2000, you better get your Pledge Manager closed out and entered. The Pledge Manager closes February 1st, and this is also a great time that if you missed out on the Twilight 2000 Kickstarter, go check out the Pledge Manager. You can put in a late pledge. I put the link in the description of this video, so please check out that. That's about all the news that I have for this. Let's bring in Thomas. Thomas, can you give any updates as far as the Twilight 2000 Kickstarter?
Yeah, sure. Like you said there, we have a cutoff date on just a couple of days from now on February 1st. And that's if you want to change your pledge or upgrade it or add some new add-ons or upgrade to the limited edition box or something like that you need to do by February 1st. You will still be able to update your shipping address after this point if you need to, but it's always good to finish this as early as possible. But shipping is a few months off because production is starting soon. So that's why we need to know how many of these limited boxes to make, because we're only making enough to cover this Kickstarter. They won't be available anywhere else. So that's the idea behind that. So finish that if you haven't done it. And apart from that, we're now moving into finalizing the beta PDF. We're doing like another PDF that we'll share with backers before we go to print, with a lot of changes and updates. Not major changes. It's the same game, but there is some stuff was missing from the alpha as well. There was some content, some scenario sites, some rules chapters, and some other things that were not there. They will be in the beta, and we'll have some updates to the rules as well. We've been doing further testing. We got lots of great feedback. So yeah, there is some stuff to be done, and we wanted to get backers a chance to have a look at the beta also before we go to print. So, but it's probably, I would say, what is it now? So it's going to be a couple of weeks, maybe 3-4 weeks before we will be able to show you the beta PDF. So stay tuned for that, and don't forget to complete your Pledge Manager if you haven't already done so.
Excellent. For those of you that missed out on the next narrative art book by Simon Stollenhag, there is a limited amount of stock available from the Kickstarter. If you would like to pre-order that copy, yourself a copy, I did put the link in the description of this video. You can pick up a copy of the Kickstarter version of this art book by Simon Stollenhag for a limited time. Might want to hop on that. If you pre-order it through the Pledge Manager and pick up the late pledge, you'll get the Kickstarter version as well as any of the bonuses that were provided during the Kickstarter. Maybe Thomas can give us a little more information about the labyrinth.
Sure. Yeah. We just opened for late pledges. All of the shipping of the main pledges should be done, or almost. There could be a few stragglers left, and we had a very short window to complete the pledge manager for the labyrinth back in November, I think. And for those who didn't manage to get on that first wave, we just had a second wave of shipping, and that should be complete almost. There could be 1 or 2 orders left that had not shipped out, but they are going out this week. So that's so we figured now, once all the main pledges are out, pretty much, we could open up for some late pledges. So if you missed the Kickstarter, now you can get back on it. There is still a chance to get a hold of the limited edition of the book that won't be available later. And also there will be a retail edition released by Skybound Entertainment, Simon's US publisher, but that's coming sometime later in the year, so that might be some time off. So yeah, if you can still make a late pledge, and you will get a hold of this book, well, in a matter of a few weeks at least. So if you want to miss the Kickstarter, you want to get in on the book, you want that limited edition, it's you have a chance now for a limited time before the pledge manager also closes.
Excellent. And will folks they'll get the prints and everything that were provided for the Kickstarter as
exactly.
well?
That's a good point. You had the stretch goal art prints that were part of the Kickstarter, and they will also be, if you are a late backer, you will get those as well. And they will also most likely not be a part of the retail version of the book. So that's something to keep in mind.
Excellent. I will remind folks once again that the late pledges are still available for Tales from the Loop, the board game. The link is in the description as always, so make sure to check out that if you have not already pledged for that game. Also, there's retailer pledges available as well. We can kind of bring in Thomas and get an idea of what the production is and what the development is on the Tales from the Loop, the board game. How's that coming along, Thomas?
It's going well. We're fixing like the finished files. I mean, all the miniatures are done. I mean, they're in production, and now it's we're in the last sort of stages of finishing all of the cards and counters and all of that stuff. So our graphic designers and Martin Takeichi, who's the designer of the board game, they're hard at work now, just getting everything ready and sent over. So then it's going to enter like full production over at the factory. It's being done by Dust Studios, who are known for the Dust game, miniatures game, Pablo Parentes company. They're making the robot miniatures and all of the other components and everything. So that's pretty much on track. We will be shipping that out this summer as planned. There could be a slight delay, but hopefully not too much. It's pretty much on track, and I'm really looking forward to getting a copy of this game myself to try out finally, like the final. I mean, I've tried a number of prototypes, of course, but you know, it's to get that full finished game in my hand. That's gonna be great. Sure,
absolutely. I'm excited to see. I always love Simon's world that he creates. His worlds are just amazing, and it's gonna be nice to be able to play another like way in his universe and that he's come up with.
Yeah.
Let's move on to some pre-orders that you've announced. Last week you announced the Kickstarter for the Symbaroum starter set. If folks are interested in this, this is available at Symbaroum.com. The new box set will retail for approximately $40 US, depending on the conversion. It has everything you need to start playing. 2 ready-made adventure sites, guidelines for creating treasure hunt adventures, a 64-page rulebook, 64-page adventure compendium, a dice set, 2 two-sided full color maps, and 6 pre-generated characters. This also, I will note that some folks are actually already starting to receive copies of this. I think some of the UK pre-orders are even arriving at doorsteps already, Thomas.
Yeah, I know. It's like magic. No, what's going on is that we decided actually to start we received the starter sets at the warehouse. They should be already at the UK warehouse, and they are any day now arriving to the US warehouse also from the factory. And it's a pre-order, but we figured why wait? So we started actually shipping these out like a week ago or something. We can't guarantee it's going to be shipping over a period of time, so we can't say exactly when they will actually arrive precisely for everyone, because it's going to differ a bit. But definitely, if you pre-order, you will get it pretty soon. They're going out as we speak, and well ahead of the official release date, which I believe is the 16th, if I'm not. Yeah, 16th of February. Yeah, so that's there, and I'd like to say that it's, even though it's a starter set, so it's mainly maybe focused for people who haven't played Symbaroum before. It's like a great start point, but there is also new original content in it. So even if you're already a Symbaroum player, there's stuff in here that I think you'll definitely enjoy. So have a look at that. I would strongly recommend it.
One thing I will mention is that last week we did a session with Matthias Johnson Hawk, and we talked a little bit more about the starter set in depth, and he actually showed us a first off the line production copy. So if folks are interested in the starter set, go check out. I'll put a little annotation here if you're watching it after the fact, and not live, and you're watching the video on demand. But you can scroll and search the Free League YouTube channel for that. Also, one other perk that you get for pre-ordering the starter set is you get the PDF, a high quality or high resolution PDF art book of the Symbaroum art, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's like a little pre-order bonus. That's also going to be part of, if you place your order before February 16th, you will get this art book as well. It can be useful to put up, on your screen or wherever when playing, and it's just a pretty thing to look at.
Nice. Also still available is the pre-order for the Colonial Marines Operations Manual. You can go to alien-rpg.com and pre-order this. This is the next big expansion, the next book for the Alien RPG. Let's just bring on Thomas and see how the development for this product is coming. Thomas, how long is this pre-order going to be up for? Do we have any idea?
Yeah, it's going to run for some while longer. The release date is set for March. It'll be late March, not early March, so it's still some ways off. Could potentially slip into April because of reasons. But in any case, we'll be running the pre-order until pretty much all the way up until release. So you have time. But what will happen is we're now finishing up layout has started. We're finishing. Drew Gasco's doing most of the writing. He's finishing up his last revision of the last part of the text. So we're working on that at the same time. So in a couple of weeks, we should have a full PDF of the book complete. So when we have that, we'll be sending that out to pre-order. So that's a good reason to pre-order. You get this PDF well ahead of the physical book. So that's a good reason for that pre-order. And we also have a little bit of an art book for that one as well that pre-orders will get. So that's that's going to be running at least up until February, March, around there sometime.
The other thing that I forgot to mention about the Symbaroum starter set is that the folks will get the PDF copies fairly as soon as pretty much once they enter their pre-order. You usually send those the PDFs right away or shortly after. So
that's true. Yeah, exactly.
So if folks are interested in the Alien Colonial Marines Operation Manual or the Symbaroum starter set, make sure to place your orders for those fairly soon. And one other thing that Free League had launched recently in this month is Vaesen. for Fantasy Grounds. So if you are a virtual tabletop user and you use Fantasy Grounds, the official module for Vaesen was launched. You can pick that up on their website, as well as the Wicked Secret expansion. Both of those are available. And yeah, I think this is a way that or an area that Free League is trying to kind of push, especially in this day and age that we're living in now. Thomas, is there any news you can kind of give us as far as virtual tabletop in Free League publishing?
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, it's something we're really working hard on right now, and this is just one release out of many. We want to release pretty much all our games across several virtual tabletop platforms. So we have stuff over at Roll20 already. We have Tales from the Loop and Alien, and on Fantasy Grounds we have Alien also, Symbaroum, and now Vaesen. And we're also moving into a third platform, Foundry, which has been doing really well. So you can expect some releases on Foundry also within the coming month, most likely, if everything goes according to plan. We'll have 2 releases on Foundry, so you can stay tuned for that. So it all depends on what platform you prefer. We try to not just, to try to be present on several of these platforms, so we can be where the players are. But we do think in general that it's something we really need to move into, not only because of the pandemic, but just because I think playing online is something that's here to stay. I mean, personally,
Absolutely.
I do prefer playing, via actual physical table, but I think playing online is a really great complement when in situations where you might not be able to actually go meet your friends.
Sure. Yeah, it looks like there's quite a bit of chatter in the chat as far as virtual tabletop. Christopher says, please say Symbaroum for Foundry virtual tabletop. And Indigo Dragon says, get Coriolis on Fantasy Grounds, please.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, I think we can most likely accommodate those requests. Sure.
Yeah, and then is there any other news that you would like to? Is there anything that I missed as far as releases, Kickstarters, pre-orders? I think I covered it all for right.
I think so. I mean, like people most probably know, we're also working hard at the One Ring role-playing game, and we hope to have news very soon on how that's going. So, but I can't really say much today, but hopefully very soon.
Okay, that's fine. You want to take a few questions before we sign off and maybe do a little quick Q&A.
Sure.
Let's see here. Everybody sees the One Ring second edition. Everybody is really everybody's very very curious for the One Ring. Hopefully we can give you some information here shortly here, in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Let's ask. Marco asks something about Symbaroum fifth campaign book.
Yeah. I mean, we are like you already know probably. Who if you ask this question, we have the PDF out already. That's readily available for free, where you can play. You can try out the 5e version of the Symbaroum rule set, but we are working on a full 5e version of Symbaroum also, with like the full player handbook, game master's guide, and the monster codex all converted into 5e. We haven't announced any dates or anything, but it's the way we are looking at it now. It's well underway. We'll probably have pre-order or Kickstarter or something like that. We'll announce it when we know for sure later in the spring, and it should be released sometime. Let's see, hopefully before the end of this year. So gotcha. Should be news on that soon.
What about the next major expansion for Symbaroum?
That too is being worked on intensely. I know from the Matthias himself. He's right now sitting up north in all the snow, writing this text. That's what he does every day now. That could be. We'll see when we have a plan. If we can release it it might actually be even before the sort of the end of the first half of this year. But at least we're looking at sometime, if we can, June, could be July, August also. But that's well underway, and unless something really, something derails our plans, that should be coming along in the not too distant future. But also we'll have some form of pre-order for that, and we'll announce it later in the spring. But it should also be just a month or two off before we can give more solid news on that front.
Excellent. Fenhorn asks, any news about mutant stuff? I know that he's a very a big fan of all things Mutant Year Zero. So
so am I. So I completely hear him on that. Well, I'm not sure what we have news since probably we spoke about it last time, but we are working on a completely new type of game for Mutant Year Zero, not a role-playing game. We are doing role-playing stuff also, but we're also looking into this is not like an official announcement, and things can change, but we are looking at making a skirmish miniatures game as well as a card game. So that's being it's not approved, it's not announced, so it's not 100%, but it's being looked into and worked on. We're also, as you know, working on the Ad Astra, Mutant Ad Astra role-playing game, and that's proceeding also. And I don't have any solid news on that front right now, but it's definitely still happening. So There's stuff going on for Mutant Year Zero on multiple fronts, and of course we're so it's definitely not dead. And for Swedish fans, we're also now just finished a campaign book for something called Mutant Hindenburg. It's one of the very few role-playing games that we published lately in Swedish only, because for a number of reasons. But that book is coming out very soon also.
Excellent. Let us know in the comments if you're excited for a Mutant Year Zero miniatures game and card game, because I think a lot of people will. We'd love to hear your feedback as far as that, if there's a big market for those games, which I'm going to assume there probably is. Okay, let's see here. We got a question that says, is there any further available information on additional setting info for Vaesen, as mentioned in some previous chats?
Right, yes. We are working on a setting book for Vaesen. It should probably be released this year. We'll announce it properly soon. I think, let me just see what we have actually announced beforehand. But we are... what we are trying to do is to sort of expand the world. Even though I think the Mythic North, that's the core setting of Vaesen, is cool. It's a good setting, I think, but we feel the game can be broader and can encompass more regions of the world and more cool creatures from anywhere. So that's kind of what we're looking at now, is to produce a setting book with mysteries. Set in a different setting, and we had, as a stretch goal in the initial Kickstarter, we had a mystery written by Graham Davis, who's a really experienced game designer, game writer he's been active for decades, doing a lot of Warhammer stuff back in the day, and he's doing a mystery that is set in Britain. And what we're looking at now is doing more for that setting. But as we do that, we'll probably create mysteries that could work in the Nordic setting or perhaps a British setting. And we're also looking at further settings down the line to kind of geographically increase the scope of the game. And cool. So that's also, we should have news on that in the next couple of months here during the spring.
Excellent. Fenhorn also asks, any news about how we're going to handle Brexit? That's been a popular question asked with Kickstarter right now.
Oh yeah, sure. No, it's been a thing. I mean, it's not only for Kickstarters, but for our web shop orders, and we have our main warehouse in the UK, so obviously that's an issue. It's of course, mostly an issue for customers in the EU. Because if you're in the UK, it doesn't make any difference, and if you're outside, if you're in the US or anywhere, it won't really make a difference either. But for everyone who's in the EU, which is a significant amount of people, obviously, the Brexit has caused some trouble. What we're doing now is we're trying to work through this. We're trying to establish another warehouse in Germany as a complement to the one in the UK. That will probably, in the long term, solve most issues that we can ship from within the EU. Obviously, Sweden is in the EU also, but it's actually pretty far up in a corner, so it's tricky to ship from here. It turns out that's not the best solution. So we'll probably have a place in Germany to ship from, and that should resolve most issues. In the meantime, though, what we're doing is that we'll be covering any import fees, because otherwise you probably need to pay what's called an import VAT or a tax on because you're actually importing stuff. If you order something from us, and if you're in Germany and we ship from the UK, there will be some kind of fee. At the moment, we are covering that, so it should not be carried on to you as a customer. In the EU, that's for the EU at the moment, and hopefully in very shortly we should actually have a solution in place where this problem will not it will go away, at least as far as customers are concerned. On our part, we'll still have trouble shipping stuff to the warehouse from a printer in Latvia or somewhere, so it's still going to cause some issues, but hopefully it shouldn't be too noticeable for you as a player or as a customer in the web shop, or a Kickstarter backer for that matter.
Millie is asking about Mercy of the Icons Part 3. Is that do you have any news or any kind of information on that?
It's in progress.
Okay.
I know Rickard Antroya, who wrote Part 2, is doing Part 3. I'm not the project manager for that particular thing, so I don't have the latest details maybe, but I know it's in the works. If we can get it done this year, that's definitely the target. And we have some pretty strong discussions on because this is, I mean, it's not the end of the game. Absolutely not, but it's the end of this epic, huge campaign, which will have some pretty significant ramifications for the game setting and the game universe. I think if you have read or played Part 2, I think you could see that already there, that it's pretty profound in terms of how it changes things. So that also means for Part 3, that's going to be the same, or it's or even more so. So that's a subject for some pretty strong discussions in the team right now on where to take things, which is interesting. Nice. So it's some hopefully creative differences that will hopefully lead to a even better end result. So, but nothing really solid in terms of release dates. That's still, at the earliest in the fall, hopefully in the fall, or but in that kind of time period.
Excellent. Indigo Dragon asks, also wondering, will there be reprints of GenLab Alpha and Mechatron?
That's, I can give you a 50% positive on that. At the moment, that's actually something that's on my list of things to do. Let me check. I think we just, the other day, we actually received a reprint of GenLab Alpha to the warehouse, like just a couple of days ago. It's been out of print for a long time, for a number of reasons, really. I always kind of wanted to reprint it, but we were not really sure on where to go with Mutant Year Zero in general. So so we wanted to hold off on reprinting a little bit. But now it's great to have the book back. So we'll probably announce that and make it available for purchase really soon. I mean, like this week or any day now, we'll get that up there. So if you want to get a hold of a copy of GenLab Alpha, that's going to be there for you. So that's happening. Mechatron, it's not reprinted yet. We might. There could be some tweaks we need to do, and so that's a little bit further down the line, but it's completely within the realm of possibility to get that back into print as well. I mean, personally, I'd love to have all 4 mutant books back in print. I mean, that's obviously we want the full range to be available. But yeah, so GenLab very soon available in print again.
Orc asks, any Forbidden Lands content on the horizon?
Yeah, I keep getting like pings from we have a new illustrator who's doing stuff for
nice.
Forbidden Lands, and he's sending stuff like all the time. I get in this kind of Facebook Messenger thing when he puts up stuff, and it's looking really good. And it's he's working on a next campaign book. It's kind of in the same format as the Bitter Reach, but it heads let's see, west instead of north into the region called the Ashen Vale or Asleen. It's written by Eric Granstrom, who wrote the Raven's Purge and the material in the core book. I think we mentioned this before, but that's really well underway. Tobias Tronell, who did those big, beautiful maps of Ravenland and the Bitter Reach, is also doing the map for this one, and we're right now. He's showing his sort of in progress work on that big map for the land to the west. So text and art and the map are coming together. So it's actually one of those projects that are nicely humming along in the background. We haven't said much publicly yet, which is in a sense nice, because once we've announced it and kind of said when it's coming out, then the heat is on and the pressure is on, and we have to deliver what we promised. So this one is so far sort of a little bit behind the curtains work, but well, now I obviously talked about it, so anyway, so that's happening, and we'll also be announcing more details on that once we're a little bit further along. If we can, we'd like to release that book this year also, or possibly like early next year, so around that time period.
Excellent. A question was asked, what kind of information will be in the Colonial Marines manual? What can we look forward to and adding into our current games with it?
Yeah, it's a lot.
That is quite a bit.
It really is. That's also why it's a massive book. I'm a bit scared, to be honest, about the page count, because it's going to be bigger than we thought. I keep telling Drew to keep it down, and he kind of delivers more, and it's good. So I don't want to cut too much. So that's it's going to be a really big book, and it's going to have what I like about it, and that's also one of the reasons it's a big book, is that it's not just like a source book. It's that, but it's also like a campaign book. It's like both. So you'll be getting it's like the whole history of the Colonial Marines, the organization of it. You get more character generation rules for creating Colonial Marines of different varieties as player characters. You get like guidelines for how to play Marines. You get lots of new gear and vehicles with art and stuff. So you get all of that source book stuff. But then you also get like a full campaign. It's not like one traditional linear campaign where you go from A to B to C. It's more of a the way we kind of like to do things. It's more like a meta plot where something big is going on in the background, but you can interact with that in different ways. I think it's a little bit similar in philosophy to the Path to Eden campaign in Mutiny Year Zero, or even the Raven's Purge and Forbidden Lands also, that it's got like, instead of having locations though, it's got like, they're kind of locations, but they're missions. So you have a number of missions that you can send your Marines on, and these missions can interact with this bigger meta plot. It can interact with that in different ways, and then there's like a suggested, like a finale, a big end game for the campaign. So it's all of that is in and you get the kind of background on these main factions and players interacting in this, and you get all of that in one book. So as you can probably imagine, it's quite a lot to fit in there. So that's what we're working on right now.
I will mention that we did do a session with Drew Gaska, who is the writer for this on the show. So if you'd like to go back and check that out on our YouTube channel, there's some great information on goes into a little bit of the background on that too, and his process of writing it as well. So Thomas Brock asks, the question that I think a lot of people would. If we won't be hearing about the One Ring today, when can we expect that to happen?
Yeah, that's that's the kind of thing that I cannot really answer. It's just one of those things.
What I will probably suggest is that if folks have not hit the subscribe button on this channel,
yeah, definitely
hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell notification. You'll get notified as soon as we can make an announcement. And also follow Freely Publishing on social media, and that you can see down here at the bottom of the screen, and you'll be made aware as soon as possible.
Absolutely. I mean, that's no, it's just a little bit of patience. I wish I could tell you more right now, but I really just cannot. So, but stay tuned, and it will hopefully not be long now.
Excellent. Let me. I'm going to see if we can get any more questions. Let us know if you have any more questions. I know there was a question about a Predator RPG. We can't really talk about. That's not really something that. That's a totally different license.
It is, yeah. I mean, at least it's not part of the scope of what we're doing, so it's not on the horizon. I mean, you never say never, but it's not part of the plans.
Indigo Dragon does ask. There also needs to be a reprint of the Copper Crown for Symbaroum.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea. It's a good book, and yeah, I mean, it's always tricky to have every single book in print all the time. It's kind of there's always something out of print, and you kind of think you're covered, and you realize something else has went out of print. So it's a constant challenge to keep everything in print. We have a lot of stuff now, so it's sometimes we have to choose what to do when and so on. But yeah. We'll see what we can do.
We've got about 5 more minutes. Is there any more? We'll take a few more questions, and then we'll call it a session. Let's see here. Any Loop RPG news? So any Tales from the Loop RPG news?
Yeah, there is a campaign being worked on, a campaign book. It's going to be kind of a self-contained 4 mysteries, all tied together. It's underway, and we should probably sound like a broken record, but have more info soon. We don't have that much right now. We're also looking at, I think we've mentioned at least the possibility, and it's still not officially announced. We don't have anything, I can't say anything for sure, but we are moving into looking at an RPG based on the Electric State. So that's kind of something we're moving into, and that's very early days. I can't really say much. We don't want to say too much too early, because then it's just going to be such a long wait until we actually have something to show for it. But yeah, they should not be too far off before we can have some more on that front.
Let's see here. A question was asked, or a question or a statement was made in the chat, that if Freely made a Cthulhu RPG with the Year Zero engine, I would be a happy camper. That well, I think we might be able to talk a little bit about that.
Happy camper then, and once we, that's also something we are doing, as some of you might know. We actually had it as a stretch goal in the Kickstarter for the Call of Cthulhu, the art book that we released about a year ago. So that's in progress, as everything else. So and we get a lot of questions about this and when it's coming, and I totally get that, because it was a stretch goal. We can't just drag it out forever. But it's also a full role-playing game, so that takes time, and it needs to be done right. And we have great people working on it. Yeah, it's coming along. I don't want to give any dates on it, but it's coming.
Excellent. Yeah, I think most of the questions that are in the chat, it looks like they've been answered. So if I didn't get to your question or didn't put it on the screen, that's because we answered it previously. So please go back and check the beginning of this session out. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we sign off?
I don't know. I don't think so. I can't think
Okay.
of anything at the moment.
All right. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. We want to thank, on behalf of Free League Publishing, we want to thank everyone for your support and for your purchasing of all that we do. We really greatly appreciate that quite a bit. I know this is a strange time and age that we're living in with all of this stuff going on worldwide, and hopefully our games bring you a little bit of joy in your day, and what little bit of an escape of everything else that is happening in the world. So thank you so much to everyone for supporting us, and thank you to everyone that has joined us in the chat. Make sure to hit that like button down below if you're excited about any of the things that we chatted about today. And also, like I said, make sure to hit that subscribe if you haven't hit that subscribe button already, because we've got plenty more announcements coming, and we want you to make sure you hear it right away as soon as we can announce it. So, all right, folks, thank you so much. Thank you, Thomas, for giving part of your day for this session. We'll see you next time. Bye now.